Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Unicorn. I'm Jimmy Owens. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you think about our guests. Share it with your friends. Our guest today is Kimberly Jarman.
Yep.
Did I get that right?
You did.
All right, awesome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Should be a fun episode.
Yeah.
A question I've been asking people lately, just an icebreaker, is what do you not want advice on?
Health and fitness. Yes. I mean, I've had I was 20 years a personal trainer. I've been CrossFit since 2012. So when people want to give me advice, it's just like, yeah, no.
What kind of advice do they usually try to give you?
Oh, you should be eating this, or are you drinking all this water? And my business partner is a licensed naturopathic doctor. It's like,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We may have them on the show,
Yeah.
right?
Dr. Carmen. Yep.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
We're going to make that happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Look for that in one of these next episodes.
Yes.
All right, awesome. What would you tell our viewers one of the best things they can do for their health?
Sleep and water.
I was going to say get out of bed.
I think we sacrifice sleep a lot for productivity, right?
Okay.
And that just takes years off your life. So, for what?
Right, for what?
Yeah.
Usually the dollar.
Yeah.
Usually the dollar. Hobbies?
Yeah, I am a CrossFitter.
Okay.
So, yes, I'm part of that cult. Drink all the Kool-Aid. And
It is a cult.
It is. And my husband really loves street racing. So we go to a lot of street racing, like Thunder Valley and stuff like that.
So quarter-mile street race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Street cars. He loves drag races with funny cars.
Okay.
I'm more into Italian sports cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't race, but he does.
Correct.
Do you
He
ride with
doesn't.
him?
His car's not working right now. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does he have?
He has a 60-something Mustang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it runs.
Runs when he works on it.
Well, I mean, does it? What kind of fuel does it run?
Gas.
It is gas.
Street cars
Okay, it is
typically
street.
are gas. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think they race alcohol burning cars and stuff out there too,
Yes.
and they use nitrous and stuff.
Yes.
Right? So I do know a little
Turbos.
bit. I
Yeah.
just know enough to be
Dangerous.
Yep, exactly. We're going to get right into it. What makes you a unicorn, Kimberly?
I thought about it because you asked me that question. I thought about it and because do you really think about yourself in that way? I don't know. Maybe people do. It's my resiliency. I'm a super resilient person.
Yeah,
and
this is a time to brag. You need to brag
Yeah.
on yourself. Yeah. Tell us about it.
And I won't quit.
Okay.
So I've had a motto since I was a teenager because I grew up with baby boomers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a millennial, and they're baby boomers. So there was this generation gap, and no was their favorite answer. Just everything I asked was always a no. So as a teenager, I was like, you know what? No is never the final answer.
Right.
No is just an opportunity for me to ask it a different way or ask someone else because I'm going to get what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I hate whenever people go, hey, that can't be done. I'm like, it can totally be done if you just try.
Yeah. Anything's possible.
It's totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my first life coach, and we'll talk about this more later. It was Brooke Castillo. And the woman's amazing, right? She owns the Life Coach School. She made $42 million last year. Mm-hmm. Okay. And she teaches us to live in possibility. Anything's possible.
Sure.
Right? What's not possible is when you decide it's not.
Right. Yeah. You're like your biggest enemy.
Yeah.
You're your biggest problem.
Yep.
You would know that because what do you do for a living?
Great segue.
Yeah, that was perfect.
I am a mindset coach.
Okay.
Yep. I help mainly entrepreneurs get out of their own way and help them create the success they want. So we do that by creating self-confidence. Self-confidence is very different than confidence. Confidence is historical based. You're very confident in your ability to walk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
So self-confidence is built out of 4 things. You have to trust yourself, believe in yourself, have your own back, and be willing to feel any and all emotions. So we work on self-confidence and then failure resilience in our program so then they can continue to create success and build on it and create bigger and bigger success.
That's awesome. I'm going to go take a nap now. I was just going to go rest. I got it.
Yeah, we do it throughout grinding, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so many people like grinding culture and like just work. And it's like more work doesn't equal more money.
Right.
More creative ideas and value into the world creates more money because people exchange value for value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think once we understand why we do what we do, like as a person,
Yeah.
and then you can get to what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you
your
know?
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our why drives us, right? Like, I have a goal of making $10 million by my 10th year of business, and I'm in year 2. My why has to be really strong because, right, you're going to fail your way to success.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times where there's ups and downs, and you're going to want to quit. And if your why isn't strong,
Yeah.
you're going to quit.
And then you would ask the person that you were coaching, when you get to the 10 million at the 10th year, are you still going to be satisfied? Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, by then, you know, they've had enough mindset coaching to know
Sure.
that, like, external things don't
It's not
create our
about the money.
emotions.
Yeah.
Right? Our emotions are created by us and our thoughts. So you have to believe ahead of time that you are that $1 million business owner to actually become that $1 million business owner. So it's like getting to the root cause, like why? Why do I want to have a $10 million business? Well, in the beginning, it's because I wanted to feel important. I wanted people to see me as important. I wanted that Maserati for people to see me as important. But when I got to the root cause, they're like, oh, that's why I get to feel important now.
Yeah.
And I do that for myself. That's not external things, right? And when I can feel important now, I get to that $1 million a lot faster.
Awesome. Yeah. So we know what you do for a living.
Yeah.
And then you also help veterans as well.
I used to work with veterans when I
Okay.
was in higher ed.
Okay.
I did kind of transition from the military into higher education.
Okay.
Which is a lot of mindset stuff, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you do what you do?
Because I am the person that I needed help from 7 years ago. I was just like, I did what society told me to do. I went to college, I got the master's degree, I got married, I went and worked the 8 to 5, I did the 401k thing, and I was so fucking miserable. I hated my life. I felt like every time I went to work that my soul was slowly dying. And I was suffering from depression, and I had a lot of trauma in my life that I had went to lots of therapists. Let's just be clear about that.
Okay.
Like 6.
Okay.
And it just didn't really help me, and I was just continuing to decline, right? I just was miserable with my life, and I knew I had so much more potential. I knew I could be successful. I just needed someone to help me get out of my way. Because it was like, I know it's there. How do I get there? I've done everything society's told me to do to be successful, and I'm not in my eyes, right? Like, I was making the 40K, living paycheck to paycheck, and I was like, there's got to be more. And I went through a really traumatic, just awful, like, crash and burn story, which I had to get there, right? Like,
And we're going to get to the crash and burn story.
yes.
But we're gonna come back. We're gonna get to our episode sponsor. This episode is brought to you by DesignTunnel, our company. Check this out. Okay, so I totally cut you off. I need to stop doing that. I've been told. So
You're good.
But I want to hear about this backstory.
Okay. So I was married to a college football coach, and we moved a lot. And again, I was in higher ed, and I hated it. I'd suffered from depression and suicidal ideation since I was 13. And as my life continued, and just, life's 50-50. It's like 50% good and 50% shitty. And that's just the human experience. But back then I didn't know that. I thought I just lived in victim mentality all the time. I felt so powerless in my life.
Okay. Yeah.
And we had a flood, so where we lived at, and we lost everything. And that was just like the tip of the iceberg for me.
Yeah, I feel like the world's against you.
Yeah.
Right.
And my coping mechanisms that helped me get through life no longer worked. So we separated. I moved back home, and I was going to therapy and doing the work, and at that point I was diagnosed with PTSD. So I was just surviving, and it hit a tipping point at the end of another relationship, and I ended up in the psych hospital for suicide. Okay. And when I got out of the psych hospital, which was an awful experience. I don't recommend anyone to go do that. Yeah. When I got out, what I learned from that whole experience is no one's coming to save me. No one, no deity, nothing. Like if I wanted a different life, it was fully on me, and I had to take responsibility for my life. Yeah. And at that point, it was like, okay, I know I want to be successful. I know I can be. I just need like something. So I was reading the book by Jen.
Instead of going this way, right?
Yep, up
You're
and
trying
down.
to figure out how to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and have a career that's fulfilling.
I've not done that.
No.
I'm just joking.
Yeah. So Jen's book, You're a Badass at Making Money, basically my brain read, like, if you want to be successful, get a coach. I was like, I've never heard of this. Yeah. So I Googled it, and I found Brooke Castillo's podcast, The Life Coach School. And within 2 episodes, I was like, oh my God, this is like the fucking keys to the universe. It's like, she teaches the model. And the model is that your thoughts create your emotions, and your emotions drive your actions, and your actions create the results in your life. So if you want different results, you have to go back to the T line, the thought line. Right? And then she taught us about where all the thoughts came from. And most of our thoughts are just subjective interpretation of reality. They're not facts, because facts are provable in a court of law.
They're not real. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes the law sucks, but go ahead.
And it just was like, it blew my mind. Because I have a master's degree in counseling, and I had never heard any of this. Not from anywhere, right? And it was like, what? All my emotions this whole time have been coming from my thoughts? Yeah. So everything I've ever created and experienced in my life has came from me. Right. And that's a hard realization at first, right? Like, I created this shitty life. And then once I kind of overcame that, it was like, well, if I created that, I can create an amazing life. Right. So I studied under her for 2 years, and it changed everything for me. It changed how my brain works. It changed like my emotions. Like I tend to stay pretty just kind of chill, you know.
Like I'm
not
anymore,
like
right?
this way up and down thing anymore. I don't have depression or anxiety. And I just get like that's the human experience. It's 50-50. And when it becomes a problem is because I've made it a problem. Yeah. Right? And that's the whole thing with failure. Like, we're so terrified of failure is because we make it mean something about us as a human. When really failure is quitting. That's why I know I will be a multimillionaire. It's because I will not quit. Part of the entrepreneurial process is experimenting. That worked. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work, right? And so when we redefine failure is the only way that I can fail is if I quit, and I know I won't quit. It just opens up the ability to take risk and do things to create success for yourself.
So this might, I gotta have a question for you. So you're not a quitter?
No.
But you work hard?
Yeah.
Are you a workaholic?
I think my tendency is to want to be, right? Because my brain wants to move back into that prove my worth thing. But I manage it enough. Like, I'm 100% worthy. You're 100% worthy, right? So me grinding it out is not going to add to my worthiness.
Right. So then the question I was wanting to get to is, how do you prevent burnout? Or do you
manage your mind?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get burnout? Because
my question is, why would you? Like, what leads you to burnout?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just the amount of projects that you're trying to get done in a day, or yours is totally different than what we do. But we do video production.
Like, why are we trying to cram a bunch of stuff in?
Yeah. I mean, you're asking me this?
Yeah.
Okay. Usually it's just because of deadlines. I mean, yeah.
And who created the deadlines?
Yeah, me, for our team. Or I take on more projects than we probably should during a certain time at times. But I know it's doable. Yeah.
Why?
To please the clients, to let them know that they have a resource that's reliable when they need us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we could just keep going on and like you get down to the like, why am I behaving this way? Yeah. Like, what am I trying to get?
Because we want to create revenue for our company, and if everyone needs their stuff now, then we do it now. But we also try not to overcommit and have to stay up till midnight.
Right.
You know? So we have some lines in the sand.
Yeah.
We try to work between 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Right, Ryan? Right, Ryan?
Because I get this model, like my mentor, Brooke, again, I'll tell you, like, she made $42 million last year. She works 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Like Stacey Bateman, my business coach, she hit 25 million, works 3 days a week.
Yeah. Well, I think we learn to work more efficiently, and then we also we work the whole time we're working, right?
Yeah.
Like there's some people who are like, I'm so busy, I got to work the weekends, I'm not going to be able to make my kids' game, and they're like, maybe you shouldn't drive across town to go get a drink.
Right.
That's not work. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's that addiction to busyness because they feel like they're being productive, right? It's an emotion they're chasing.
Oh no, I see it every day with people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't do it, but I would like to think that I don't, but I know I do a little bit.
Yeah, and also, I mean, to be fair, to answer your question fairly, I have a coach, right?
Yeah.
So I go to coaching like when I'm in that.
Not a CrossFit coach.
No, I have a mindset. I have a life coach, mindset coach.
Yeah.
And she'll call you out on it, you know,
Sure.
like, why are you, like, what are you doing? If you're so busy and you're not having fun in your life, like, where are you spending your time?
Yeah.
And is it creating results, or are you just being busy to be busy because that makes you feel good and your brain gets a dopamine kick?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's why I don't drink a lot of coffee. I got to stay at my desk a little longer. Don't drink a lot of coffee. All right. Any business hacks for our audience? We always like to ask that.
I think I kind of led into it. Like, you have to be willing to fail your way to success. Like, if people want to be, like, whatever your definition of success is, you're going to have to be willing to fail your way there. Because there's not a linear path. You know that as an entrepreneur, right? Like, if strategy, like business strategy, was like the ultimate, everybody would be successful. I can go Google that shit, right?
Right.
But not every business is, because it's not just about strategy. It's got to be about mindset and having your own back, because you're going to have to try things. That worked, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Your way of doing it may not work for someone else's way. So to be successful, we're going to have to get comfortable with taking risk and not making failure mean anything about who I am as an individual. And I think that would be the biggest business hack, is just get comfortable with it, have your own back, don't make it mean anything about you.
Okay. And then on the other side, outside of business, there's life. What life hacks do you have?
Well, the model for sure, right? Your thoughts are creating your emotions are driving your actions, and your actions are creating your results. And then I love Brooks' quote, like, it's the human experience. It's going to be 50-50. You're going to experience 50% positive emotions, 50% negative, and the human experience is 50% great and 50% shitty, which leads into Byron Katie's quote that when we argue with reality, we lose 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So we just don't argue with reality. Like, yeah, this is life.
Yeah. Something around our house is our boys say this, because I'll say it too. I say it to my wife jokingly, like, something went wrong, towards me, like, you did that on purpose, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the case, right?
Right,
yeah.
right.
But it's funny because my boys will be like, you did that on purpose. You're like, the family's not against you.
Right.
We didn't spill your water on purpose, like.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the reality is totally different than what.
Yeah, taking responsibility.
Yeah, they spilled their water.
Yeah.
No, you spilled my water. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we already got into why you do what you do. One or two things the viewer could still learn about you? CrossFit? Car racing?
I think I am an Enneagram 8, and I'm a Scorpio.
So start over. You're a what?
I'm an Enneagram 8.
What does that mean?
Have you ever, the Enneagram is like a personality test that you take.
Okay,
and
I have not taken one.
It's 1 to 9, okay? And 8s we're called the challenger, right? Basically, we're just really intense, direct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's usually the adjective that's used to describe me, is you're really intense, Kim.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm an 8, I'm a Scorpio. So yeah, I'm an intense person, kind of serious a lot. I like to have fun,
You
but
have to
like,
get things done.
yeah. And I don't like to bullshit around. Like, I am not a surface level conversation. Like, let's talk about something real. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you work with clients like remotely or only in person?
So my business is all, which is amazing, it's all online. Like, all my sessions are via Zoom.
Yep.
I have Canadian clients. I have clients here in the U.S. And what also is unique like I told you, my business partner is a licensed naturopathic doctor. So
Yeah.
when they come in, we test their neurotransmitters, like their serotonin, their dopamine, their hormones, and their cortisol. Because those have to be online. We have to have access to normal levels of those to produce the thoughts and emotions we want to at a rapid pace. Right.
Yep.
So how we got there is like I was studying the 1%. Like what makes Elon Musk different than the rest of us? And Dr. Carmen and I have a podcast. And in the podcast, I was talking about that. And she was like, oh, well, it's serotonin. Serotonin is a self-confidence neurotransmitter. And it's also the rejection resilience one. So when Elon gets a no or one of his rockets explodes, right, it's like, oh, dang, moving forward. Where a lot of us get a no and it's devastating and we'll spend, and spending takes us longer to move forward.
Yeah.
So part of our program is it's a urine and saliva test. So I just mail it out to them. They take it, mail it back to the lab. So everything's online.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about your podcast too.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing it? Why did you start doing it?
Okay.
And are you glad that you're doing it?
Okay. How long have we been doing it? We have 127 episodes.
Okay.
So what is that, like almost 2.5 years? It's an episode a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So 2.5 years. Why did we start doing it? Because Dr. Carmen is a genius.
Okay.
She went to Cornell, and then she went to conventional med school, and then did another 4 years in naturopathic med school. So her level of knowledge of the human body and how it can heal itself, and then my knowledge of mindset and how the human brain works and the nervous system works and how these combine together was like, oh yeah, like why aren't we, let's just talk about this and we'll record it and share it to the world.
Yeah. So that's what you guys talk weekly?
Yeah.
About all the just new topics that came out.
Anything and everything.
Ryan's favorite, Elon Musk again, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. What about the podcast? Like, who brought up the idea to get this started?
Yeah, it was me. God
you.
Bless that woman.
Yeah, it was you. How did you meet her?
I used to own a CrossFit gym.
You used to own a CrossFit gym
did.
until she sold it for millions.
Yeah. Yeah, I had already had my Maserati. Yeah, I had a CrossFit gym in Ada, and then she had her medical practice down there, and we met at a women's networking group.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, you should come work with me. I'm trying to optimize my clients' health. Can you come and do presentations for us? And then we became best friends. She's also my physician. And so when I sold the gym, and then I started my coaching business, before I started my coaching business, we were partnering up and we were doing retreats together.
Okay.
And then I started my coaching business, and we did that episode talking about Elon. And I was like, oh man, this is the missing key. Like we need to be adding these neurotransmitters into mindset work. So then we partnered up.
How did the neurotransmitters work? Or do we want to save that for the doctor?
I think what one do you want to talk about?
I have no clue. You tell me.
So let's just talk about dopamine. Okay, dopamine is like the
best one.
Feel good one,
That's
right?
the best one. Yeah.
So if you look at the pathways, and Carmen will explain this to you a little bit better. Like serotonin, it has its own separate pathway, and it's connected to melatonin. So dopamine has a different pathway, and it has a connection to our norepinephrine and epinephrine. Those are like adrenaline. Okay, so in this dopamine pathway, we have enzymes that our body makes, if I'm going to get this right. And then we have like cofactors or coenzymes, I can't remember which one it is, that we intake in, like the complex vitamin Ds, vitamin C, SAMe, P5P. They're all things that we take in from nutrients, right? Well, dopamine needs vitamin C to convert into norepinephrine. Okay? It's going to get a little sciencey here. Okay. So that pathway. Now we have over here our hormone cortisol pathway, because cortisol is a hormone. Okay. So progesterone, which you and I both have, progesterone converts into testosterone and then the estrogens. But it also has a second pathway. It converts into cortisol. Okay. Cortisol needs a high amount of vitamin C to be created. Okay? You still with me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay. So when we're stressed, our body demands a lot of cortisol. Yeah?
Okay.
That's part of survival. It's part of the limbic system in our brain, the primal brain. So body is always going to honor that first because it's about survival. Okay.
Okay.
So when we're stressed, the body thinks that we are being threatened and our survival is being threatened.
I'm getting pissed off right now just like thinking about being angry and mad and stressed.
So when our body does that, it starts producing a lot of cortisol. So it demands a lot of vitamin C.
Okay.
Yeah, to make this cortisol. It also takes a lot of progesterone to make this cortisol. So it down regulates its production of sex hormones.
Okay.
But it also, remember, vitamin C is needed for dopamine conversion into norepinephrine.
Right.
That one's not necessary for survival. So then that production is downregulated too.
So then you're just not
So
as
then
happy.
Yeah. So
There
then
you go. I'm already
chemically it
following you. I
produces
told you I was
this-
listening.
Yeah. It
Yeah, I
produces
get it.
this downregulated state. So then it forces us to go seek out dopamine hits. Right?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That leads to a nasty
Yeah.
cycle. Yeah.
So it leads to a lot of we call it buffering in the coaching world.
Yeah.
Like binging out to Netflix, alcohol,
Sure.
drugs, sex,
Yeah.
all the
the good
things
stuff.
the humans
All the good
love
stuff.
to
Yeah.
numb out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, all that's really good information. I can't wait to hear from Dr. Carmen and have her on the show, right? Her?
Yeah, yeah.
Not him?
She. Yeah.
All right. She.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So if someone wants to get in contact with you, just reach out, guys. Leave a comment. We'll be watching the comments. She'll be watching the comments. All of her contact information's also in the description of the video. Is there anything that you want to add?
Yeah, I think that if they are interested in mindset stuff, we have a bunch of free resources.
Okay.
So they can follow me on Instagram at Kimberly Jarman Coaching, KimberlyJarmanCoaching. And also our podcast, Thrive and Aligned Healing. It's a long name.
Okay, so that's what the name of the podcast is?
Yep.
Okay.
Because we have everything I teach in our program, we teach on the podcast. So it's just a free resource because I understand not a lot of people can invest in coaching because, it's not super cheap or anything, right?
Yeah,
so it's
I get
just
it.
a great way to start on the journey is going to the podcast or following me on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and then the one-on-one coaching is going to be way more specific and it's going to be
Yes.
all oriented around you, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's all about you.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Ask a question.
For sure.
Let us know who you'd like to see on next. We'll see if we can get them, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
You bet. Good job.